studios of AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and airing on WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk where facts matter. Welcome to The Gailey Show, the only daily LGBTQ radio news and talk show in the United States. I am your host, John Parker. It is Friday, and we take a time out from the news on Fridays to celebrate culture and entertainment. Why? Because queer artists and writers and theater makers and musicians and filmmakers are some of the most censored groups of people in the country today. And so we want to always take up that time to highlight the work that they're doing and to get you to read it, watch it, go out into the world and see it. So what do we have for you today? One Voice Mixed Chorus's upcoming concert, Protest Lines, is coming out in November. Artistic director Kimberly Wagwa joins us to discuss. But up first, it's time to laugh again. The Queer and Funny Improv Festival is this Sunday, November 9th at 825 Arts in St. Paul, Minnesota, with events happening all day long. The festival aims to highlight the diversity of queer comedic voices, spread the joy of improv as an art form, and create a space where all can enjoy themselves while being their full selves. Organizers Chris Rodriguez and Laura Berger join me now. Laura and Chris, hello. Thanks for joining me on The Gailey Show.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Yes, happy to be here.
All right, so I was trying to look this up. Is this the 6th year of the festival?
I believe so, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I did my research correctly. I was literally combing through your Instagram file and going back and looking at all the fun photos there. So congratulations on 6th annual festival. Laura, maybe we can start with you telling us what is on deck for this year's.
Yeah, so this year we're doing more of like a bite-sized festival because we are hoping to reschedule and make it even bigger for the summer. But what we have planned this year, we have an amazing workshop taught by a local improviser, local legend, the amazing Jill Bernard. She's teaching a workshop about your voice as an artist, and that's going to be happening in the morning. And then in the afternoon, there is going to be an amazing queer jam facilitated by Chris and Steph, one of our other facilitators, Steph Callahan. And then in the evening, we have an amazing lineup of all local queer improvisers and groups that are going to be just showcasing all of the amazing talent we have that is all queer talent.
Okay, well, let's start with the workshop. Let's take the day in order. The workshop. So for folks who sign up for the workshop, like what can they expect?
Yeah, so when you come in for a workshop, you're going to be taught by Jill Bernard, and she is going to facilitate you in exploring. It's for all levels. So if you're more of a beginner improviser, or if you have some years of experience or you've just started classes, you're going to have a great time in just how to embrace yourself on the stage, how to figure out like where your artistic vision is, if that's if I'm describing it correctly. But is it 3 hours, Chris?
Yes.
Yes, it's a 3-hour workshop from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Thank you, to 1 p.m. And it's going to be a really great time. And it's going to be just you with all of your fellow queer people being led by an amazing, talented improviser, queer, who just has years of experience and is one of the best teachers ever.
Wow. And then, Chris, what is a jam?
Right. Yeah. So a jam is kind of like it's a casual get together of like artists that get together and just kind of display their art. And in this case, it's an improv jam. So starting at 3:30, we're going to get together. It's very casual. Just show up as you are. And then Steph and I will facilitate through kind of warm-ups, getting up and running, creating like a nice safe space, creating boundaries, and then launching from there into just jamming. It's just like a jam band. We get together, we try some stuff, we be goofy, we be silly, all in this very curated space that is meant solely for queer artists and for people who are interested in queer art, queer improv, or just a queer space where you get to just be yourself and have a really good time. So it's very casual and very fun. It's very lighthearted and very silly.
So when I think when people think of improv, they generally may think of like, there's an audience and there are folks on stage and they, the actors ask for like, okay, give us a word and then you run from it there. But in a jam, how does that work? Like, are there scenes, prompts? Like, what happens to get the jam going?
Yeah. So usually jams are the way that I know we're going to be running this jam is we start off just playing some games, establishing like the boundary, the space itself, what our boundaries are. And then after that, we do just scene work. Which means that we do, it's kind of like scenes from a play. We get together, we just pretend to be different people in different situations, big silly weirdos and big silly situations. And we just kind of hop around. Every jam can be facilitated in different ways depending on which one you're doing. But this one will be, kind of depending on how many people are there, probably divided into a couple of smaller groups just to make it a little easier. Those who aren't running will sit and watch and kind of be the audience and cheer and laugh along with each other. And then we'll swap it up. The other group will do a couple scenes and we'll facilitate the whole thing. So even if you're not entirely sure what you're walking into, you'll know that you're walking into a safe space that will be guiding you through every portion of it. So you can kind of know what's coming next and what you're going to be seeing. It's really delightful.
We are talking with Laura Berger and Chris Rodriguez about the Queer and Funny Improv Festival, which is this Sunday, November 9th at 825 Arts in St. Paul, Minnesota. Okay, so then the evening concludes with the marquee event.
Yeah, that's a great word for it.
Yeah. Normally in a festival, any improv festival, and in Queer and Funny's past, any group, both local and out of town, submit months prior, and people go through the video submissions and pick from there. But this year, because we kind of wanted to make it more of a small one-day event rather than 2 days, so we can then later expand, we decided to curate. So we brainstormed lists of local groups and improvisers we all liked, and then curated it and sent out invites from there. So you're going to be seeing like a really nice curated show, variety of like duos, which is just improv between two people. You'll be seeing big groups, things that are more storytelling and community based, some that tell stories narratively from beginning to end, and some that are just like a montage of small scenes and little bits.
And that starts at...
Yeah, it starts at 7. 7.
Great. And so we'll have links for folks on the in our show notes and on our website for how to get tickets. Something that I saw on there, that I believe I saw on there, is that the workshop and the jam are queer exclusive attendees, correct?
Correct. The workshop and the jam are only if you identify as queer, but as long as you identify as queer, you're welcome in the spaces for you. But we do feel like it's very important for us to have space to be who we are, exactly how we want to be, without any kind of concern for, what anyone else might be bringing to the table. So you can know that both those spaces are 100% queer. The show itself, those who are playing, every group that's on that stage is completely composed of queer players. We do encourage everyone to come and watch that show. So being part of the audience is open for everyone. We feel like this is a great opportunity for anyone who just wants to celebrate queer art, support queer art, support queer improv, support queer comedy, can do so, while those of us who are frequently marginalized and off to the side get to highlight just how wildly funny we really are.
And you also, in terms of our showcase, our jam and our workshop, they are queer exclusive, but we are not going to ask anyone to disclose the exact identities or pronouns that they use in order to get in. If you feel like you belong there, you belong there.
Oh, I love that. This seems so like silly. I mean, it was just we were in Chicago and visiting our partner station WCPT 820. And we're like, let's go walk along the beach, and we ended up stumbling across the gay beach, as it turned out. We're like, let's hang out here, and it was just a beach, and it was just a bunch of gays just enjoying like the last great beach day. And I was like, the thing that got me the most is I was like, I'm so happy to be in a space right now where everybody here is queer. And so I really appreciate that you're creating that space. And I think that matters a lot given the moment that we're living in right now. And I don't want to get like too political, but talk to me. Is there anything that you're planning that's different this year given the political environment that we are finding ourselves in?
I think I would say that part of it is kind of looking into the future. This year, we're shrinking a little bit because we have these big plans to push next year even bigger. And so we just needed to kind of pull back a little bit right now just to kind of prep for that with the full understanding of our political landscape right now, the fact that so many of us are being pushed back to the sidelines and that we're just not going to have it. So in kind of like preparing to be even bigger, even bolder, we've partnered with a second company this year, which is one of the reasons that we're kind of shrinking. We're partnering with Very Good Improv, which Laura and I are owners of, to expand next year, to be even louder, even gayer, even more in your face, even like just continuing to grow and say, listen, we are here right now. There's nothing you can do to stop us.
And I think also we wanted to, again, like why we made the workshop queer exclusive, because in years past, the workshops have been open to anyone. But this year we just really wanted the space to be community based and just for us. There's a lot of barriers to improv. It can be very scary. So when you can take away the barrier of like not having to worry about some asshole or, oh, I'm so sorry. Not just so you don't have to worry about people who might marginalize you.
We are talking about the Queer and Funny Improv Festival, which is this Sunday at 825 Arts. We're going to have more with Chris and Laura after this break. Before we head into the break, I want to share about our travel partner, Travel Marquette. I have been going to Marquette. Y'all been hearing me say this now for like 3 months. I've been going there every year for the past decade. Speaking of comedy, the Stand-Up Comedy Festival is this weekend at the Dock Brewing Company. It's November 5th through the 8th. It's a 4-day festival with multiple showings and comedians offering a wide variety of humor. Also starting this weekend, you experience the magic of the holiday season as the historic Lower Harbor Dock lights up with magical holiday displays every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 8 p.m. We're going to have more on The Gailey Show when we come back. Stay tuned. Welcome back to The Gailey Show. I am John Parker. We are coming up on the top of the hour. The Queer and Funny Improv Festival is an annual event bringing together diverse queer comedic voices. This year's festival is Sunday, November 9th at 825 Arts in St. Paul, Minnesota. Organizers Chris Rodriguez and Laura Berger are my guests. Chris and Laura, what are the shows that folks can expect this weekend at the festival?
Yeah. So our show is starting at 7 p.m. on Sunday, and it's going to be in 2 acts. Your ticket, it's pay what you like. We suggest $15, but it's truly pay what you like, and that gets you into both halves. And so we'll be opening up with History is Queer. If Chris wants to tell a little bit about that.
Yeah, History is Queer is a small ensemble group where we have a storyteller come and talk about some history from a queer perspective, highlighting queer folk or queer like moments in history, and then we use those to inspire scenes, not necessarily recreating those scenes in any way, shape, or form, but just kind of like drawing comedic inspiration from that. And we just find it so important to take a look at our history and then also pair that with kind of the comedy stylings of improv.
Wait, so like when you say history, like how far back into history are you going?
Well, that's up to our historian. We have a full-on historian who comes in and we don't know what they're bringing to the table. They give us a PowerPoint. Last time they talked about Anita Bryant, we just made fun of her for a really long time, and it was absolutely delightful. So a lot of that, a little poking fun at some folk that need to be poked fun at, but we do not know how far back they're going to go. So we'll find out on the night.
So cathartic.
It really is. Oh boy, when I saw that picture of a pie on her face, oh, delightful. And also, like, because we have such a mixed bag of an audience, from young to like folk who like older queers all over the map, it's just nice also to see what happens from an audience perspective when they hear a story from queer history that they just didn't know. And a lot of folk in the audience didn't know about Anita Bryant, but then the ones who did, they're just like screaming, "Get her!" Yeah, it was delightful.
Yeah. You like Nancy Mays. Wait till you meet Anita Bryant. No, it's a thing right now. I talk to a lot of authors here on the show, and they are a lot of them doing historical either research or historical fantasy or historical based novels, and they're like, oh, so much of what was happening then is repeating right now. So I love the spin that you all are taking on it, which is, yes, learn from our history, but also let's have some fun with it.
Exactly. We feel it's important for both sides.
Yeah. For sure.
But that's only one of the shows that you'll see that night.
Yeah, that's only one. Next up, we have a duo called Neat, which is with Denzel Balin and Chris Rodriguez, who's in this call right here.
A duo called Nate?
Neat.
Who's
Nate?
Neat. Oh.
N-E-A-T.
Yeah.
It's Neat.
I was like, who's Nate? Does Neat stand for anything?
No, we just thought it sounded
Everything's an
neat.
acronym these days.
Yeah, it's all caps. It looks like an acronym, but we just thought it sounded fun. But just one of the duos where we play with genre. You'll see a lot of different genres get smashed together and see what kind of chaos ensues. We roll some dice. It's all by a whim. It is big, silly goofball energy. Truly delightful. In the second half, you'll also see one of our another queer ensemble, which is actually the queer players from Black and Funny, which is a local
Blackout.
Excuse me.
Yeah,
Blackout.
Black and Funny is another amazing local festival. But Blackout is a local group of all Black improvisers. And for Queer and Funny, we have all of the queer Blackout cast members. And so we've got Alexis Camille, Alcé Bruno, Alicia Rose, Jordan Bird, Denzel Balin, Destiny Davison, Jada Pulley, one of the founders and creators of Queer and Funny, and Kari Jackson. So that's going to be really exciting. Blackout is one of the longest standing groups here in Minneapolis. They always put on such an amazing show. Like, I think they had like a big show at the Ordway earlier this year that just went phenomenal. So you can't miss them. They are so good. Some of the most talented folks around.
We are Laura, real quick, we're here with Laura Berger and Chris Rodriguez talking about the Queer and Funny Improv Festival, which is this Sunday at 825 Arts in St. Paul, Minnesota. If you're just joining the show right now and wondering, who are we talking to? Laura, who is next on the show on Sunday evening?
Yes, and then the last group we have lined up is the Feel Good About Yourself Orchestra, which consists of Jill Bernard, who will be teaching our workshop earlier in the day, and also Doug Nethercott, who regularly performs and writes with the Brave New Workshop. This is a musical improv duo, so they are doing a full narrative musical, beginning to end. All the songs and lyrics are made up on the spot. They're singing, they're harmonizing, they're telling a story. They're doing it all, and it's the most impressive thing. This is a really great duo. They don't do a lot of shows together often because they're both so busy. So this is one of your few chances to see it. So come see it.
Wow. I imagine that's also just a lot of cognitive and emotional work to do in such a short period of time.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, they're only going to have 30 minutes, I think.
Watching an entire musical unfold behind, like right in front of you, is one of the most magical things you can see. Last time we had them at Queer Funny, they ended with a standing ovation, really brought the house down. It is,
I can imagine,
absolute magic. It is absolute magic, and totally, it's absolutely something that you have to see for yourself to see just how wild it is, how brain breaking it can really be to see these two go to town.
Wow. Okay, so This is the curated festival for 2025. Can you give us a little bit of a preview for 2026? You're saying you're going to have something bigger in 2026?
We'll be aiming for sometime in July. And we will also be opening up submissions. So it could be for both local and out of town, out of state, maybe out of the country performers. And we hope to have it be a lot bigger than just one day.
Yeah. The hope and the dream is that as people continue to hear about this festival and queer folk from all over hear about it, that they can start submitting. And once we start bringing people in from different places, seeing different culture and queer culture and from different places, the potential is there for it to continue to grow and grow every single year. And next year, when it is a selection-based process where you can submit, we're just so excited to see what queer art brings from different places. And we encourage everyone to submit and just see what happens.
And maybe it'll inspire some like out-of-towners to start their own queer improv communities in their own cities.
For real. Oh, I love this. I love how seeing queer folks in the Twin Cities start to create these spaces and these festivals that are not just for us, but to bring folks in as well to the cities. I'm thinking of like Flip the Script Film Festival right now and the success that they've been having. And I'm so glad that you are having this success as well. It is the Queer and Funny Improv Festival. It's this Sunday, November 9th at 825 Arts in St. Paul, Minnesota. We have links in our show notes and on our website for you to get your tickets. Also, queerandfunny.com. They're also on Instagram and Facebook. Just search for Queer and Funny Improv. Laura, Chris, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take one more break. If you like what you're seeing, click subscribe on YouTube, give us a like and leave a comment. And if you're listening on the radio, listen to these sponsors, do business with them, and tell them you heard about them on The Gailey Show. Coming to you from the studios of AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and airing on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk, where facts matter. Welcome back to The Gailey Show. I am John Parker. It is 33 minutes after the hour. Jim Pounds, my executive producer, joins me in studio.
Hey, all.
And we are also streaming on our YouTube channel right now. If you like what we're doing, subscribe on YouTube, click like, and leave us a comment. All of us have been thinking about how to resist this administration and everything that's happening in our country right now that is coming for the LGBTQ community on all fronts. And now One Voice Mixed Chorus has an upcoming concert this month called Protest Lines. And prior to joining One Voice Mixed Chorus, their artistic director, Kimberly Waigwa, joins us now. Waigwa was the artistic director of the Phoenix Women's Chorus and Desert Voices Mixed Chorus. Waigwa was a member of the inaugural class of the Chorus America Choral Executive Leadership Academy. They are also a member of the American Choral Director Association National Diversity Initiatives Committee. They join me now. Waigwa, welcome back to The Gailey Show.
Hi, thanks so much for having me back.
Okay, Protest Lines. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so Protest Lines is kind of a response to what's happening in the world. Last May, we did a 5th anniversary concert to commemorate the 5th anniversary of the murder of George Floyd. Mm-hmm. And so just based on that concert, we got to partner with 4 other Black-led ensembles to kind of come together to have our own tribute. And based on singer reactions, this is the direction that we needed to go. It is the feeling that singers were having of what can we do in the community? How can we give back more? And through music as our medium, what can we do? Mm-hmm. And so that is where the name Protest Lines came from. It doesn't so much mean walking in lines in protest. It means that the 5 lines of the music staff are our means of protest. And so in putting this,
Wow.
and so Yeah, we've been advocates for the queer community and other communities for the last 37 years. And so we just want to dig deeper into that tradition. And so this year with Protest Lines, we are celebrating that with a whole bunch of protest songs. So the concert is almost a 50-50 split of the chorus putting together music of protest, as well as teaching the audience protest songs.
That's what I love about this concert.
I think this is so brilliant. I mean, we're working with a lot of arts groups, and you can see what their programming is, and I would describe it as safe, and sort of not wanting to ruffle any feathers or whatever. And here's an organization like yours that is literally saying, we're not ignoring what's happening, we're acknowledging it, and we're going to do what we can about it. And I just think it's brilliant. I just think it's a brilliant concept.
Thank you. Yeah, we hope that it will be very well attended and people can the goal is to have people leave with some sort of hope, right? To remember that despite lots of bad things in the world happening, there are still good things, right? Coming together to sing is a good thing. Coming to support your community is a good thing. Being able to sing with other people is a great thing. And so hopefully people will leave not only with some hope, but we're creating some packets for them so they can take protest songs out either into their communities, whether that's their churches or their families, or out if they decide to hit the streets for a next protest.
So how do you curate a program like this? Because I imagine there's a rich tradition of songs to choose from for a concert. You have a limited amount of time. Like, how did you go through, like, what are the selections that you can tell us that will be part of the program?
Sure, I can tell you kind of some key staples. I've very much wanted to pull from both the Black and the queer, traditions of protest. Certainly from the women's music movement. We'll be singing, of course, Singing for Our Lives by Holly Near. For any folks who don't know, it was a response to the murder of Harvey Milk. She kind of started writing it the minute she found out that he was killed. And by the time she reached the vigil for him, there were 2 verses already formed, and that was the first time that it was performed. So that's kind of one huge staple, Holly Near. And we also have another woman whose work we're incorporating. Her name is Melanie DeMore. She was also a huge advocate of the women's movement. And if you've ever seen someone who just has this internal light and this internal spark to pull emotion from you, not necessarily with a glossing over, but with a hard truth. She makes you feel joy in your own resistance. Melanie DeMore is amazing. So we're doing 2 of her pieces that the audience will get to sing, Lead with Love and Standing Stone. And then I would say another that stands out to me is We Shall Overcome. Because not only did that start kind of on the plantation fields and get taken into the Black Methodist movement kind of at the beginning of Black folks being able to kind of create and like solidify their own recognized religions. But it's been used for labor movements. It's been used in apartheid South Africa. It's really just a song that has crossed so many different struggles throughout history. So I think those are some key highlights.
That's great.
So how does the audience participation and learning work?
So this is a very unusual concert for One Voice. Usually it's kind of like I create everything. There's a couple solos here and there, and that's it. But I really wanted to kind of let go this time because I am not a monolith of a movement, right? And so other than one of the songs, which I'll be leading, everything else is going to be led by singers.
Oh.
Yeah, so they'll be teaching it to the audience. The audience will have their lyrics and get to run through it, and then we'll sing it all together.
That is so great. That is just so
I'm feeling a little emotional just thinking about those particular songs that you listed and singing them together. Yeah.
And that's a feeling we want, right?
This is going to be special.
Well, if you go to any sort of art event now, I sometimes feel guilty because it seems like we're all acting like everything's fine. We're all sitting here watching some play and I am enjoying it. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking I should be doing something important or more important. And this would certainly be that. So that I can imagine being very satisfied to go to that. And is this at the Ordway? Is that right?
No, this will be at O'Shaughnessy on the St. Kate's campus.
beg your pardon. I love
Oh, that's
that
a good space.
It's a great
Yeah.
space.
Yeah, it's a great space. It's very easy to see the audience. And I think it'll be perfect for us.
Do you know how many that seats? I'm not sure that I know that.
I think it seats 1,800 total.
Okay.
Mhm,
That's a
mhm.
nice group. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
big.
we'd love to fill all of those seats. We'd
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
1,800 people
For
singing
God's
songs
sake.
of protest
I
and solidarity
know. Can you
together.
imagine?
It'd be
Oh,
amazing.
yes.
Do that.
That would be
Yeah.
so cathartic. We're here with Kimberly Wagwa, who is the artistic director of One Voice Mixed Chorus. Their concert, Protest Lines, is Saturday, November 15th at the O'Shaughnessy Auditorium. Is it the theater?
Yeah.
Auditorium at St. Kate's, right?
St. Kate's at 7:30 p.m.
7:30 p.m. Music is such a big part of the protest tradition here in this country, be it from civil rights to queer liberation, labor rights, women's equality, etc., etc. Talk to me about your thoughts leading a chorus at this particular moment in time in
Sure.
American history.
It's certainly no small task. But I think I would go further even to what you said. Music and singing together has been a part of just human history. It has been the way that we've conveyed stories. It's been the way that we have grieved. It's been the way that we have celebrated. It's been even the way that we have, harvested. Communal singing is such a huge part of the human experience. And so it feels that much more necessary now is to be able to not only have, we have our weekly rehearsals, and it's not like we're going to stop doing concerts of this kind, that are advocating for whatever group it is, whatever kind of music it is, whatever kind of collection of humans that we have. But I think it's really important to try to share that more actively with the community. Because there's, as I think Jim was saying, like there's one thing to be able to go to a concert and feel good about it, but like you might take warm fuzzies, but what do you do with them? And so hopefully by sharing, every singer or every audience member who comes will have a QR code, so they'll have links so they can go on YouTube and hear the songs that they learned while they were at the concert, have all the text, have some links so that they can know their rights and know who's been supporting us in this, and hopefully support them. So the goal is to not only have them take those songs, but to take some sense of action with them. Like, are you going to drive your neighbor who has mobility issues somewhere? Are you going to pick up someone's groceries? Are you going to go to a food bank? Like, are you going to volunteer somewhere you've never volunteered before? Is there someone who needs data entry done? And that's a way you can volunteer. So hopefully it just sparks some more ways that you can give back. Like, obviously, please continue to support One Voice, but there are also so many other, this is a land of nonprofits, right? And we're a land of nonprofits because there's a lot of need. And so finding some way that you can give to that need is the goal beyond just communal singing. I say just, but you know what I mean.
And that is something that One Voice does as well. I mean, when folks go there, whether it's going to be protest lines or not, you always try to have some sort of community aspect and building community and creating community at your concerts.
Yeah, it's always the goal. And it's hard because, repertoire changes and audiences change, and you might not always remember who was there before, but the more integrated you can be in your community, the less, you have to think about, who was there before? Who did they partner with? Like, I can't remember the name of that organization. It's just like you have a bank of folks that you can reach out to.
Right. That's brilliant. I love it.
Well, I don't want to. Are there going to be any? I know it's November and it's protest lines. Do you have anything scheduled for the holidays?
No, this year, actually, we typically rehearse through Thanksgiving, December holidays, New Year. And this year we were like, let's not. Let's have a little bit of a rest. However, we do have 2 more concerts in our spring semester in 2026. So the first one will be March 14th. We're actually going to be collaborating with the Minnesota Philharmonic Orchestra.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah. And so that will be kind of continuing in the same vein, kind of taking a look at America, like who
Mm.
gets to hold that identity and what ideas and values do we hold as Americans. And so that'll be a little bit of I don't know, a jump into different ways to approach those questions. And then our final show to conclude the season is actually Pride Weekend, June 27th and 28th. That'll be at the Ordway. And that is a show called Royalty. And so right now we have Dick Von Dyke confirmed as one of our drag artists. We'll be bringing another on board. And so this will be a celebration of gender diversity and drag in the queer liberation movement. And so we'll have our drag artists come and coach soloists for their own drag, routine, their own drag persona, have us kind of jump into what it means to like have gender, to be a gender, and to kind of understand better what the pushback has always been against gender diversity throughout queer history. And so that'll be being able to kind of show off some more soloists, show off some great drag artists in town, and celebrate what it means to have pride.
Oh, that's great. You mentioned the Philharmonic, and I know John had considered joining them at one point. He's a violinist. I don't think you've actually played for some
Lord.
time.
I couldn't even do an audition now. I would need to get lessons for a couple of years, even if I do the audition. But we're going to have more with Kimberly Waigwa, who is the artistic director of One Voice Mixed Chorus, after this short break. Their concert is Protest Lines. It is Saturday, November 15th at the O'Shaughnessy Auditorium in St. Paul. Before we take that break, I want to make sure that you check out our GLAAD Media Award nominated podcast, This Queer Book Saved My Life. I interview LGBTQ guests from across the rainbow about a queer book that had a life-saving impact for them. Plus, we bring in the authors to join that conversation. You can find This Queer Book Saved My Life everywhere that you get your podcasts and at thisqueerbook.com. Also, be sure to follow both This Queer Book and The Gaily Show on Blue Sky, the only place that you can find us on social media. We're at thisqueerbook.com on Blue Sky and at thegailyshow.org on Blue Sky. More after this break. Stay tuned. Welcome back to The Gaily Show. I'm John Parker. We are coming up on the top of the hour. Music is a form of resistance, and there's a strong tradition of that across almost all of the mass movements. And as we were talking to Kimberly Waigwa, artistic director of One Voice Mixed Chorus, across human history, not just queer liberation and the civil rights movement and the labor movement. And One Voice Mixed Chorus has an upcoming concert Sunday, November 15th. It's called Protest Lines. It is at the O'Shaughnessy Auditorium in St. Paul on the campus of St. Kate's. Waigwa, a question I should have asked earlier. Protest, what does it mean?
Oh, that's a great question.
And I ask that because I think we're all trying to figure out what that is, and you're exploring that through music, and then you're also saying, "Hey, folks that are coming here, we are going to teach you this version of protest, and then we hope that you take it back with you into your areas." And I think as we're all trying to figure out how do we protest, here's one way that we can do that. But as you're thinking about it, sort of in a larger sense, also because you have another concert coming up that's exploring American identity.
Yeah.
Like for you, protest, what should we be thinking about? What are the major questions we should be thinking about as we're trying to engage with it as, Americans, as human folks, as queer folks, as BIPOC folks?
Sure. I think protest largely means living into your values, because I think it's really, really easy to be ideological, because life is hard, right? Like it's hard to be like, I will never buy from Amazon again. And it's like, well, no one in town sells that thing that I might need for this. And it's like, where can I find more resources to be more responsible to my community? That's just one example. But I think it's really trying to think of the thing that is good for your community, that is good for the long term of your community, rather than what is necessarily easy in this moment.
Mm.
And I feel like that's very difficult, and no one will always follow the straight road, right? There are some things, maybe it might be particular to your job or your livelihood, or just being able to stay housed. You have to do what you can, but as much as you can, trying to live into those values and stand in them, to make hard choices that are less convenient. I think it's really easy to live in a convenient society. It's the way that it is structured. It is the way that money is generated most easily. And so finding what you can do. And then I guess the second part would be what you hope community might mean for you. It's really hard, I think, to show up for more than, moving. Moving, like getting together for lunch or brunch or whatever, like it's hard when someone is grumpy or going through a hard time, but like being there, or going grocery shopping with someone, co-working with people, finding how you cultivate your community and how that furthers that community in the long run.
I'm curious then, as you're planning this concert with the Minnesota Philharmonic in the spring about questions of America, what are questions that you're thinking about right now as you're planning that concert?
I think the biggest thing that comes up for me is like, what does it mean to be an American? Because there's like, we are all Americans, right? But then it's like, technically I'm African American, or, Latinx American. But what does that actually mean? Looking back on historical foundations, like what has built America, and what does that say about it now versus what America says about itself? I feel like it's a rabbit hole of questions you can always ask about what kind of defines what America is. Like my parents are both immigrants. My mother was born in Panama and my father was born in Kenya. And so growing up, I always had the juxtaposition of an immigrant experience and then me as like an American kid. And so I don't know that I could even answer that question either. But I think it's really important, especially if we're thinking of what values we stand for. I mean, that is inherently being an American. Because it's where we live, it's where we're trying to survive. All of those things come together of what does it mean to just be, be and happen to be here on this ground.
No, yeah, I mean that resonates for me. I mean, like on my mom's side of the family, we're Armenian, and like my grandfather and grandmother were born on one continent, and then because of a genocide and a world war, they ended up in France. And so they were like, well, that whole generation trying to figure out, are we French? And then my mom and her sister come to the States, and then they're like, well, are we American now?
Yeah.
And what does that mean? And so then you get the kids who are like dual citizens. We're like, are we French? Are we American?
Yeah.
Are we Armenian? Like, what the heck are we?
Yeah.
And now we have so many people in this country that are like, you're not even American if you're XYZ, ABC. Like they've got all the, conditions of what that means. So I think that concert's going to be coming at such a perfect time. And what a great companion, I don't know if that's the right word, concert to protest lines that you're having right now. I think that's, you all have such amazing, I love the intentionality and the thoughtfulness that One Voice brings, not just to the work that you're doing, but how you're going to show up for folks in the community. And I think it's really special what you all are doing.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like that is particularly important to me as someone who is not only queer, but of two immigrant backgrounds. Being reflected in choral music has never really been my experience, certainly not in undergrad. Yeah, and in grad school, it's like a little bit, branching out, but the choral music landscape in particular tends to focus more on sound than it does on words. But with choral music, you're telling other people's stories, right? From all types of traditions, and it's important to think about those words.
The concert is Protest Lines. It is November 15th at the O'Shaughnessy Theater in St. Paul on the campus of St. Kate's. You can get your tickets at onevoicemn.com. onevoicemn.org, onevoicemn.org. On social media, they are onevoicemn. On YouTube, you can search for youtube.com/@onevoicemixedchorus. Wagwa, it's so great to be in conversation with you again.
Yes, thank you so much.
And I can't wait to have you back on to talk about this conference. I keep saying conference, concert next spring about America.
Yeah, thank you. I look forward to it.
And thank you, everyone, for listening today. Up next is the Matt McNeil Show. In where are we? I don't even know where we are anymore. Folks, it's been a week. The election. Congratulations. We'll see you back here on Monday.